And welcome back to the Daily Wrap. It's time for Yay or Nay. First up, this is for all of you NASCAR wannabes out there who just can't manage to drive the speed limit, like Rick. Ford Motor Company now getting ready to enroll new safety technology that can actually prevent drivers from driving over the speed limit. How? By scanning nearby road signs with onboard camera and adjusting the car's speed per the speed limit on said sign. Ford says the technology will not only improve road safety, but also reduce the number of pricey speeding tickets. So far, this technology will only be offered in their new S-Max model in Europe. Is this a good idea, yay or nay, Brad Hirschfield?
Ultimately, nay. I want to say yay because it will save some people, but there's something weird and draconian about it. On the other hand, we're moving toward driverless cars, and that may do it. Here's the one question I have. When do you get the override button for an emergency when you actually do have to drive faster? Build that in, and I'll revisit it and think it's more of a yay than a nay.
Okay, Heather?
Yeah, I still don't like it. It's a judgment thing. It's not like a self-driving car where you get to do all your stuff while you're in there. It's like telling you how to drive. I'd say nay.
I'm just deeply concerned about what this is going to do to the finances of Ferguson, Missouri, and how the police force are going to raise money in the future. This is a big problem.
Okay, very good. And I am a nay for an exact reason you just brought up. If there is an override button, the first thing you do when you get into the car is override. There is one. Our wonderful producer tells us in here,
we
so
appreciate that.
It's basically irrelevant. But then they'll just say something like, hey, you can only use the override button 4 times a month or something like that, right? So, anyway, next up, according to a survey by Deutsche Bank, 47% of Americans are not saving their money at all. That's almost half of us. Obviously, there's a lot of factors that could go into why a family is unable to set aside some of their income for a rainy day or retirement. But I couldn't help but wonder if a lot of us just don't know how to save. It sounds simple, but if over 150 million Americans are failing that test, maybe it ain't. Should American high schools, this is the question that I came up with, now start teaching a course on how to save and finance in general? Heather Hansen.
Absolutely. I think it's a brilliant idea. It's so much more useful and practical than a lot of the things that we do teach. I think it's fabulous.
I give it a yay, but let's acknowledge the great American irony. They tell you on the one hand how important it is to save, and then they encourage you to go spend for the benefit of our economy. They criticize you if you're saving, so...
That's the art of the class, and that's why it's a yay, because you've got to be able to navigate both of those impulses, the freedom to spend it all and the wisdom to know you got to put something away. That's the core of the class.
I completely agree. We're all yays on this one because so many classes in high school that we hear about now, home ec, you know what? I think it's probably better off finding out when I go to college, and the first thing you see when you're a freshman orientation is a credit card stamp, right? And they'll sign you right up because you got clean credit and you're of the right age, and these kids have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
Right. Be wrecked for life.
Yep, exactly.
They probably know. They don't care.
Or they don't care.
No, I don't think they know.
I didn't know.
I think they truly don't
I knew.
know.
They don't
You're
understand.
smart.
They don't understand the
I
interest.
knew.
They don't understand taking
God.
money off your credit card and what you're going to have to pay on
They don't know
that.
what a credit rating
And what
is,
you're
how it will
really
affect them
paying
down
for
the
things,
road,
yeah.
what you're paying for that money.
You know what
No
they
one
understand?
knows.
The minimum payment.
Right.
$15.
That's what they understand.
Done.
No,
Exactly.
that's the problem.
Cornell University's assistant dean thinks Cornell is a great place to visit for any group, including, get this, ISIS. What? Conservative activist and founder of Project Veritas, his name's James O'Keefe, you've heard of him before, interviewed the assistant dean in the group's latest Sting video and asked him if a number of different outrageous questions or groups ranging from what he thought about what materials for terrorists to bring. I mean, look, let's put it this way. He just asked, you think it's a good idea if ISIS and Hamas should be on campus? Here was the answer.
If you did supported Hamas or something like that, is that a problem? Or
the university is not going to look at different groups and say you're not allowed to support that group because we don't believe in them or something like that. I think it's just the opposite. I think the university wants the entire community to understand what's going on in all parts of the world.
that would not be a problem, helping out the communities in the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria.
Well, a lot of student organizations do that.
Maybe we could get a freedom fighter to come and do a training camp for students.
You'd be allowed to do something like that, just like bringing in a coach to do a training on a sports team or something.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it's only 17 years away, but my 17-month-old daughter ain't going to Cornell. Right? It used to be for the whole suicide thing, but now this is something different altogether. So the question for your yay or nay: is this the dumbest assistant dean you've ever seen?
How can I say yay loud enough? Right? Doing push-ups with the coach and building explosive vests? Oh yeah, those are exactly alike. I understand his point completely. When he says there's no limits, that's actually when you're not protecting free speech, you're abusing it.
I think he must be the most embarrassed. I'm hoping he didn't understand the question rather than he did and answered that way.
I would sound a very loud warning. I've been getting to know James O'Keefe, and I've tried very hard to give him the benefit of the doubt. And I got to tell you something. There is a story happening right now about how he tried to set up, and the guy who was asked to do it is the one who's testifying, to set up the people in the crowd at Ferguson to make it sound like they wanted to shoot cops. You can't trust this guy. We don't know what that guy was really asked. We don't know. And you heard there was an accent with the person asking it.
Right.
Don't believe everything you see.
Okay. And on that note, panel, thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night in the Daily Wrap. This is Joe Concha saying bye-bye.